The Laken Riley Act set to face its final vote in the House today after an amended version passed the Senate, on track to give President Trump an early win.
New Jersey Congressman Jeff Van Drew joins us now. Congressman, good morning to you. Do you think that this amended version will pass? And if so, how will this impact Americans?
Oh, it's in a good way. It would impact Americans in a good way. To answer your second question first, I do think that it will pass for sure. What's good about this is the Laken Riley Act is good in itself, obviously. But, you know, if you are guilty of or even accused of stealing anything and you're an illegal alien, so you've broken the law twice now. This is the second time you have gotten here illegally and then you're stealing. You will be detained and deported. And that is as it should be. My bill, which is the reason that this is coming back to the House, is that you will be detained and deported if you attack law enforcement. Again, common sense. You broke the law once. You got here illegally. And now not only are you here illegally, imagine this, then you're going to go and you're going to attack law enforcement. That's how much they were just not caring about anything to do with the legal system that we have in the United States of America. We amended that. We put my bill into it. My bill will be part of the Laken Riley Act, and I'm proud to say that.
That's great news. Beyond this bill, there is a lot more that you find folks there in Congress need to get done. Yesterday, Speaker Johnson meeting with Trump, Vance, also Thune from the Senate, and it seems like Speaker Johnson was extremely optimistic. But, Congressman, can you assure the American people that House Republicans will keep this momentum going and not stand in the way and derail Trump's agenda through Republican infighting?
Well, one thing I know I won't. Second thing I know is I'm going to be a force to do everything I can to try to bring people together. It is unacceptable to do that. We have a mandate from the American people. We have a mandate and a destiny to fill in history. This is an amazing time. It can be a golden age for America. We are righting all the wrongs, and there were so many, and we need the Congress to do that. Much can be done by executive order. Much can be done by agency action, but we also do need Congress. And we need to really make sure that we have the laws that back up these executive actions, because God forbid a number of years from now, another president could come in and reverse everything. We don't want that to happen. So I am hopeful that people will feel, when I say people, I mean Congress, the gravity of the issues, the importance of the time, and literally fulfilling our part of the American destiny.
Congressman, going back to the Laken Riley Act for just a moment and your addition to it. So it's not just stealing where you have to be detained and deported if you're accused of stealing, also injuring a police officer or attacking a police officer. This is a federal law when it gets voted on in the House and signed by the president. How does that impact sanctuary cities?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. See, I think we're going to have to do something where we make it clear that it's not acceptable to be a sanctuary city or a sanctuary state. Billions of dollars of federal funding go into those cities and into those states that have chosen to break federal law themselves. That's unacceptable. So, you know, in itself, it obviously should affect them, and they obviously should comply with the law. That's going to be interesting to see what the governors and the mayors of those cities and those states do, because if they want to continue to flagrantly disregard the law of the United States of America, shame on them. So I hope that they're going to obey the law. They have said they're not. Even in the state of New Jersey, I am sad to say it's a state that I hail from. They've said that they're going to fight everything that they can do, possibly against the federal government and trying to tighten up and button up our borders. We need to make sure that those who have committed illegal acts on top of the first illegal act that they committed are detained and deported. We have to make sure that when the wrong thing is happening, that the state governments are complying with and working with the federal government. They're saying they're not going to do that. We're going to find out, because we're going to push them hard.
Congressman, another one of your major issues, stopping offshore wind. President Trump has just halted offshore wind leases. Is this the beginning of the end of offshore wind turbines? You only have about 20 seconds before we have to hand it off to friends. Floor is yours.
Good day for me. I've been fighting this fight for 6 years. I was a lone voice out in the wilderness for a while. Yes, it will, because they're going to review all of the existing leases and also stop any new leases. And when they review all of this, I think they will find that offshore wind does not make sense and that some of it was done illegally. It was pushed through, and I believe that will herald the end of all of this, which has been a horror for our oceans and our coastal communities.
Right. Difficult to talk about something you're so passionate about in 20 seconds. But Congressman, you nailed it. That's why you do what you do. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.